Yes, it is me again. Welcome to another edition of Degenerate Gambling. Another episode of Top of the Bomb podcast with me here again. I know my face is probably getting tiring to look at, but we got more people, more bad boys to discuss in my favorite sport, baseball. So we went from basketball, Chris Paul, and the other idiots on there, and now we're going to baseball, Cleveland Indians, and
I believe they go by the Guardians now.
the Cleveland Indians, the Washington Redskins, and the
They just named a different sports team.
the lovable, affable Angels.
The Affable Angels and the Rays. Or they used to be known as the Devil Rays, but I guess that was too offensively religious. So they went to just the Rays now.
So yes.
Yeah, Nemo's back. I'm a constant staple of the show, seemingly. But like you said, we're going to talk about some more degenerate gamblers. Last week we hit on... I've been actually wanting to do this type of episode with Jay for a while, but I decided to break it up because, one, if we went over two different sports in the same episode, it might be a little tedious, might be a little confusing for people just kind of watching the show. So I wanted to make it more streamlined with a single sport. We talk about single topics. And the very first sports episode we had, Shohei Ohtani's worst performing video, or worst performing episode. So let's give it two more shots of different sports all around.
Really? That's the worst performance?
That's the worst performing video, yeah, so far, is Shohei Ohtani. And
feels like every video is the worst performing video.
well, it's not. It's not. Even the videos with you aren't that bad.
Well, the videos with me are great. The numbers are solid.
Oh yeah,
This face, people click on this face.
and let's see if they do it again.
I doubt these last ones. No, I really doubt. I really doubt it.
Well, we'll see. The first topic is going to be a continuation of the last conversation we had. Cleveland Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have been suspended from baseball for gambling. Not so much so, well, I guess kind of in the same vein that Chauncey Billups did, but more in the same way that Shohei Ohtani's interpreter Ipe Mizuhara did it. Whereas they bet on certain things to happen. They bet on certain individuals. There's a video of Emmanuel Clase striking out a batter and being frustrated at it. But the batter did not take it yard. The served him up a meatball and the batter, and it was over.
Don't even make that sound again.
That's going to become a sound bite now in the show. We're just going to do that every time a whiff happens somewhere here. Just,
I used to make some sound like that would make people uncomfortable. I forgot what it was.
Make a lot of sounds that make people uncomfortable.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I'm quiet when I...
I think I read an article that was signs of being a psychopath.
Straight face orgasm.
Like that diabolic verse on Dance with the Devil.
Yeah.
It's like having a straight face orgasm.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, why not? Just be like all done. Shake it off, slap it on her, and go home.
Baseball.
Yeah. Pretty much the same thing. You got your bat, you got your balls, slap it on, and you say go home.
Emmanuel Clase was a starter, I believe. Luis Ortiz was a reliever. Now, even though they got suspended halfway through the season, the Guardians still managed to make the postseason. They weren't as good. Probably, I'm assuming, Manuel and Luis would have been better if they weren't betting. Like, they could have probably struck everybody out if they wanted to, but they had to make their overs and their unders and their parlays. Obviously, it's not the first time we've seen betting. We mentioned Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter doing some betting.
The all-time legend of gambling baseball.
Pete Rose.
The late Pete Rose.
Should be in the hall. But
yeah, Pete Rose should be in the hall. You guys.
Baseball is out of touch. I think Pete Rose, because of everything he did on the field before he was a coach totally counts. Didn't bet as a player, he only bet as a coach. So if they don't want to put him in the hall as a manager, they don't have to.
I think that was what they were trying to argue. Like they don't have no definitive evidence that he was gambling as a player, throwing games or whatever. But they're trying to always do this thing. Well, if you're doing it now, then who's to say weren't doing it back then? I think that's kind of like how they also kind of looked at it. But it took a long time before he was even allowed back, like in stadiums. And then when he finally was doing, what was it, like post game or whatever, when they had him up there with a panel, and it was like, oh, you're finally allowed here. You're finally allowed back to baseball. But they still didn't want to put him in the Hall of Fame, which is, ridiculous because you got other people who have had like steroid use.
Mark McGwire.
Yeah, they are in the Hall of Fame.
Sosa.
People whose names they know are going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. And it's like he's a 3-time doper.
3-time doper. 3-time World Series champ, 3-time doper.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. And there's you can't always just say like, oh, he can't go there because of the gambling when almost I don't know, maybe like I would say maybe 5% of the league throughout the history of baseball, maybe less than that, have used some type of performance enhancing drug, right? Ivan Rodriguez, who else? There's like tons of people. Manny Ramirez, tons of people who've been busted using it at least one time in their career. Just one time. And you don't, ban them forever. They are still known as legends. Their names they're being put in the Hall of Fame. Their names are being brought up, all that shit. But a guy who was a guy who wasn't, there's no proof of him throwing games as a player. His player days are gone. He was a coach. I get if you ban him, but his legacy still remains. Really, for gambling, just for the Hall of Fame, like put him in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't make no sense. You got every other person named just one thing that was obviously, you could say, cheating against the game of baseball, getting an unfair advantage. A lot of them are still just the Saints and get this one guy. But I don't know. That's my rant. I'll shut up now.
Well, it seems that Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have done about the same thing. Now, I don't actually know much about this case. I haven't heard a lot. I don't know if there's as much info available as there was for Shohei, because Shohei was a big deal. It was a big investigation. I don't know if most of the case is confidential. I certainly haven't heard a lot about it. Even in some of the articles that I read from ESPN, they became aware at some point that the gambling began, but I don't know particularly through what channels. If they were both suspended at the same time, so I assume that they were probably in on it together. Why do you think so many of these players continue to bet?
It has to do in today's new gambling market. It is ridiculous. It is too easy to make money. You may think, oh, they're $1 million players who are doing this shit, but it's just easy money. It's just easy. It's not about how much money you're making. If you can still get more, we all want more as humans, especially as men and men who are competitive. So it's just easy. If the gambling market is going to allow you to bet now with Prize Picks, FanDuel, every single fucking day, all I see is advertisement for gambling. I open up Instagram, it's some reel of some are doing something fucking stupid, and then he stops to look at his dumb phone and play some stupid gambling game. Everything is just saturated with gambling and fucking big asses. And so when you're putting gambling now for anyone to do, these players are going to say, oh, okay, I want to make money. Make a bet. It's not going to hurt no one if I, throw a wrong pitch or make the count this, whatever that. And the fact, it's not even just now you have to throw games. This is the thing. You don't have to throw games. You don't have to really throw a whole individual performance. You can now bet on the tiniest little things now. That's what is making this more of a problem in sports. So it's not just like I'm going to walk this batter. No, it could be just make the count 2-1. It could be throw a pitch behind him, throw one pitch in the dirt, and you could bet on that. It could be put your helmet a little bit to the left or something, cover the logo. You could bet on almost anything now with a lot of this stuff. And that was the problem with one of these guys. It was that he was trying to get the count a certain way, and one of them was actually like almost hit a pitcher or hit a player. So people were pointing out that you can now bet. I forgot who it was. Some like great, really good sports analyst. He's not like mainstream, but he's just like a guy on, like us on the internet, you know. But he's
Is it
super,
baseball bits? Is it baseball doesn't exist? I love baseball doesn't exist.
Oh yeah.
John Boy, love John Boy.
Oh, John Boy. And people were concerned he was going to be like a sellout, you know, because
they sold to the NBA, they sold to the MLB.
yeah. But no, he's kind of like a small. I forgot who he was. I don't know if I find it, you know, saying you could just put it up in the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, he pointed out a great thing showing bit by bit lots of suspicious activities throughout when a lot of this gambling got easier to do and was legal. He kept track of everything, showing all the suspicious pitch sequences. Not if you gave up a hit or if you gave up a home run. He was pointing towards specific sequences of pitches, which now you can also bet on. Like I said, you could bet on if the pitch was going to be thrown behind him, if it was going to be in the dirt, if it's a curveball on a 3-0 count. Like that. And he was pointing out,
specific.
Yeah, he was pointing out specific things out there. And so when you say, like, why are they doing this? Like, what's causing this? Easy money. It's simple. Gambling now is way too loose, and it is going to destroy the integrity of sports. Not just baseball, but it's going to be basketball. And basketball, it's more prevalent because, like I say, it's harder. It's more of a team sport, when baseball is more of an individual performance structured in a team sport. You know, each player does something. It's one-on-one. It's the batter. It's the pitcher. It's more harder to see if they're cheating, especially if you can now bet on certain sequences of pitches. So it's gonna be tougher, and that's what I blame. It's just sports gambling. It being legalized, it being on the phone, it being more easily available. You're gonna get a lot more. It's a guarantee. It's been happening a lot in baseball. It's starting to be shown more in basketball. It's happening in football now. You're seeing it when it was that weird field goal kick
with the Browns and the Raiders.
That was
and
ridiculous.
Then the weird punt with the Raiders.
Yes, exactly. And you saw when the kicker even looked disappointed that he had to go out there and kick a field goal.
I mean, if he was chasing a record, you get the pointless field goal.
If you're being shut out, because that happens a lot in sports, because they want to break the shutout. Same thing when you're in baseball. You know, even though you're getting blown out, you still try because you want to break the shutout. You just don't want to go home a true loser.
Yeah.
It makes sense to do that. Oh, you know, it's a shutout. And why don't you
it becomes a practice game for the offense.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's just like, break the shutout. But it was like only less than 5 seconds, 10 seconds or so. And you go out there and kick the field goal when it was obvious Vegas said that was going to happen so people can get paid. It's prevalent now. Gambling is ruining the integrity of sports, and it will continue to get worse. And we will see more people like this getting caught. In baseball, it's going to be harder, though. Baseball, it's going to be very hard to prove that. But what we see right now, what we're talking about, it's people have been caught already.
So far, they found 3.
They
found 3.
You
think there's more?
100%. I believe there's a lot more. I truly believe probably around 40 to 50% of the game of baseball is tainted.
Really?
It's too easy. Like I said, this YouTuber and other people on Twitter are pointing out strange pitches. They're the tiniest little things that just seem a little bit off. That all started when online sports gambling was legalized in certain states and began. They started noticing tiny little tweaks in the way how batters swing. Because again, like I said, you don't have to strike out. You just swing on the first pitch. It could be, what are the odds? Here are the odds. Vote yes or whatever.
And he chases the first pitch.
He's gonna swing at the first pitch, and then it could get more specific.
Yeah.
Chase a curveball in the dirt the first pitch. And now if these two guys are in on it, he knows what's coming. He knows, okay, because we want to make money. So he already knows I'm gonna throw a curveball first pitch and you swing at it. Specific little things like that. You see people are betting also like who's gonna be the poll. Weird things that you could bet on now. So the smallest little things, and that is what is tainting sports today. And it's specifically baseball, I believe, because it's kind of harder to, you have to really comb over every single thing.
You have to go through all the text messages, all their emails, just like they did in the NBA, where they found John Day Porter's messages to his bookie.
Mm-hmm.
They found the voice messages of Mizu, Ipe Mizuhara calling Shohei's bank as Shohei Ohtani. There's a paper trail always to be found, and
especially when pitchers have been tipping pitches that past couple of years, which is weird. Why are pitchers tipping pitches? When you throw in the legalization of online sports gambling, well, maybe you should now go through all of that, look at the pitch sequences, look at the way how the batters were swinging at certain things, and just get all that information. But it's hard to do because you have to look at so many hours of footage, so many games, so back, maybe even a couple of years. In certain states where maybe it was legal, you could download the app or whatever and do all that shit. You just so much to go through. I have to look at it differently now. Now everything in baseball is suspicious.
I mean, I remember one of the pitchers from the Angels was tipping. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Mike Trout called it out. This pitcher's name was, I believe, Elvis Aranya, and every time he would throw a off-speed pitch, he'd pitch up here. Every time he throws a fastball, he puts his glove down here. And Mike Trout, when he was in the outfield, the camera caught him doing something. Like, what's he doing? They zoom in, he goes,
yeah,
because he knows the guy's tipping pitches.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was hearing that it was Mike Trout's testimony is what got Tyler Skaggs' family compensation or whatever.
Oh, the settlement?
Yeah, the settlement for the lawsuit, because he said that he was seeing the doctors prescribe pills and stuff and wasn't doing it the right way, whatever. It's just like basically feeding him, pills. So Mike Trout is a pretty honest guy, and who knows, he may know. A lot of players know that, and they won't say nothing. There's a lot of players.
Because even though he's an honest guy, it's still about the culture.
Yeah, it's still about the culture. So he probably knows that there's something fishy going on. But so he showed his disapproval of why you tipping pitches for.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there only one honest Astro guy that came out?
It was Jose. His name Jose Altuve said he never did anything, and all the guys on the team said we all cheated except for him. We tried to tell him, hey, you put this on, it'll tell you, when's an off-speed pitch coming. He said he didn't want to do it. That was even like his worst productive season. That when they were cheating, and it's because even Baseball Bits did a whole analysis of the pitches that he faced and the pitches that he swung at. Everybody was consistently swinging at off-speed pitches. His was really random. His was just based on deciding whether it was going to be a good pitch to hit or not, based on the count, based on the outcomes of the who's on base, how many outs there are, what inning is it, what's the score. He was making those decisions at the plate. And Altuve, when they tried to rip his shirt off that one day, and he thought it was suspicious because he kept the shirt on. He's like, no. He says it was because he had an embarrassing tattoo. Because they're like, oh, he's wearing a wire and it heats up when they're throwing a heater, and it goes cold when he's throwing an off-speed pitch. But he said it was an embarrassing tattoo. He didn't want to show it, but eventually he just showed it anyway to show, look, this is what I was trying to hide.
Was it stupid?
Actually, I haven't seen it. I've never looked it up. I should look at it. Flash it on the screen.
Let the audience decide.
Yeah, if it's embarrassing or not. Let us know if Jose Altuve made a good decision in protecting his reputation, or should he have just taken the heat?
I thought I heard that there was someone that snitched, though.
Carlos Beltran.
Oh, it was him that snitched? Really? Wait.
No, he didn't snitch. He got fired and banned for like a season. Him and Alex Cora. Oh, it was Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers of the Reds. Once he left, he was like, oh yeah, everybody cheated. He was like, this is the system. This is how they did it. And everybody went back and like, oh.
Him pleading his innocence reminds me of the movie 8 Men Out. There was this one player that for years was pleading his innocence, saying that he did not throw games. Baseball wasn't fixed for him. He wasn't doing that. It was all the other guys in the Black Sox. In that the year was it 1908 or something? 1916, 1908.
Around there.
Yeah, when they were all banned for life. And for years until his death, he said, I never betted on baseball. I never fixed games. I never threw games. I played honest. It was them. He did it all the way until he died. Every year he appealed. So it's up to the audience, people, to decide if he's telling the truth and he never did that, or he did. I'm 50-50. I don't really know whether to believe him.
I just love that Mike Fiers did it after
But-
he retired.
Yeah, and then no consequences.
No consequences. He doesn't have to go into locker rooms being the awkward guy like who ratted out his teammates. He's like, I'm done. Like, yeah, we're cheaters. We're cheaters. We cheated.
Yeah. Well, like it is interesting. He had his worst year, productive wise, but that whole shirt thing was kind of suspicious.
Kind of
'Cause
suspicious.
maybe he lied and started cheating, in
At
the
the
postseason or something. Who knows?
It was very interesting. And you mentioned earlier that you think it's going to get worse for gambling, and I think you're absolutely right. Obviously, I reference a lot of YouTubers on here because I love YouTube. I love CoffeeZilla, and CoffeeZilla recently dropped a very important video on his predictions, ironically, about the prediction market. This new wave. So the reason why places like Kalshi and Polymarket are able to exist in California, which still has sports betting illegal, because there's a loophole. They're saying they're not betting on sports, you're trading and investing in world events. So you're putting an investment in time. You're not gambling and you're not betting on something. You're investing in time and events. And because I guess you can't interpret that as gambling, they're allowed to do it. And there are casinos that are suing to try to say this is gambling. Look, we're following the rules, so they should follow them too. And he showed there are two apps, one called Better. Better, it's literally like you're betting on something. Like they're just taunting the legislators, calling it Better without the E. So it's just like Better, and they're like, oh, it's gonna be legal in all states because it's a prediction market app. It's gonna be the TikTok of prediction markets. So you can scroll through social media, you see a video, and you place bets as soon as you see them.
Oh my God. Oh, we're entering the era of
brain rot degenerate gamblers.
Gooners and
Gamblers. Hey, that's what we'll call this. This sounds like a perfect title for this episode. Gooners and Gamblers.
Jesus.
Based on we're going to talk about Wander Franco as well, so we call it Gooners and Gamblers.
I didn't even hear about that app. That is ridiculous.
It's Better, and then another one called Covered. So Covered is an app where you can
Cover the spread.
No, it's called Covered because you can bet on your bills.
My rent. I'm just gonna do that. Will I pay rent today? Nope.
I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but apparently you can bet on them what your bills are gonna look like at the end of the month, and if you get it right, you're covered. Right, you're covered for what you owe, or you plunge deeper into debt if you're wrong. I guess if you bet like, say you get your credit card bill, right? I guess you don't know how much you're spending. You're just going out and you're just putting that bad boy everywhere. And then you bet, are you going to be over $200 or under $200? Did you spend on Netflix this month, and how many subscription services did you pay for this month? That's why people use Rocket Money, I guess, to like. This is not an ad for Rocket Money; they don't pay for it, but like their service is to like show you what you have your email attached to and what your credit card is attached to. So
I had Rocket Money. They're shitty. You don't fucking do nothing. I hate it.
Well, that's what the ads say. I've never used Rocket Money. That's what their ads say.
Yeah, they make you. They say they'll go and they'll cancel it for you.
They don't.
No, it just tells you a little thing and then it says go cancel it. You have to do it on your own. You can't press the button like they do it for you. And when they say they will negotiate for you on your behalf for a better deal, it gave me a whole script of what to say and call them. That's not negotiating on my behalf, Rocket Money. That's you giving me a fucking script to say.
Sounds like a lawsuit is in order. Maybe the Legal Eagle can look that up.
The only thing they did one time was when I first started it, when I first opened it. They sent some type of generic thing or whatever, try to be in contact with Spectrum, right? And they said that they worked out a deal with them that got me significantly lower. Nothing was lower. My bills was exactly the same. I don't know what the fuck they did or what email they sent, but there was no change.
Yeah, I've heard a story of something like that happening with another. It's another CoffeeZilla video where he talked about what's it called, a debt loan settlement, something like that, where you pay these companies where you hire this company. It's not debt consolidation, which is a legitimate business where you just get a huge loan, you pay off all your debts, and you just pay that one company. This is called debt loan settlement. Or I might be wrong. I'll just flash what it is on the screen. But essentially, it's a company that you call to have them call the creditors that you owe, and they get a better deal on your settlements. Now, normally this just happens between you and the collection agency, but they say, "Oh, we have connections to these people, and we can get lower prices for you. So you hire us, and we will save you money." On average, you only save like $60 after like if you like 10 years of debt, however much you owe that you paid interest in, it's just not worth it. So that's what that sounds like to me with Rocket Money. And so I don't know how covered is specifically going to work. If they're like, "Oh, we look at your credit and see how much your bills are," but their sell is that you could get your bills covered if you bet on them. You bet on your bills, and you get them covered if you're right. And I guess if you're not right, well, you plunge further into debt because now you just lost the money that you were going to use to pay your debt off. Which sounds fun, you know. And they're going to be legal because they're calling themselves a prediction market app as well. This is happening with Clase, and we're seeing places like Crypto.com, Coinbase, Robinhood, all opening up sections for prediction market betting. Or they call them prediction markets. I'm going to call them betting markets. They're going to start on their apps. You can now take the money you've invested into stocks or whatever card you have and just place bets on real world events because they say you're betting on the it's news. You're telling the future with the news. That's what the CEO of Clase during a speech he was saying. He's like, "Well, we're not an entertainment app. We're news. We're a news app because people are getting their news about these companies through us, and they're making informed decisions when they make investments." That's the loophole, and it seems like I believe the Trump administration, the Trump media company is gonna do something similar. Just they're gonna launch like their own version of a prediction market, or make some collaboration with one of these weird companies that are in the prediction markets. And one of his I think it was Howard Lutnick, his Treasury Secretary. He's also a part of him and Don Jr. own parts of these prediction market companies. So it doesn't seem like there's going to be any legislation coming soon to stop it. Obviously, the president signed an executive order that prevents states from regulating AI in their own state, and now it seems like he might do the same thing to prevent states from outlawing prediction markets in their states as well, because he wants to get a bit of that cash before he's on his way out of the presidency and crosses over to the next life. It's going to be an interesting time for all of us here.
Before he ascends into heaven and is on the right-hand side of God.
Well, according to him, he says, "They tell me I'm not heaven bound. They say I'm not gonna make it. I'm not good enough. I'm just gonna miss it, and I don't know what I can do to get into heaven. But they tell me I'm not good. I'm not gonna make it to heaven. I don't think I'm gonna make it." So, yeah.
That's my president.
So that's probably gonna be a prediction on Clase. Like, will President Trump make it to heaven? And we get
to cash in on the bets when the rapture happens.
Yeah, exactly. You get to bet on the rapture. That's gonna be awesome. Bet on the rapture. Who makes it to heaven? Who doesn't? Is God a man or woman? Is God white or black? It's all these crazy bets. The prediction markets are gonna go nuts when that happens. So you're like, "Oh shoot!"
Or the rapture happened by flood, earthquake, chariot of fire.
Chariot of fire. The four horsemen. The parlay, what's the four horsemen going to be wearing? What are they going to look like? It's just going to keep going the next leg, the next leg, the next leg. It's going to be awesome. And then everybody who bets, those are going to be the people who aren't making it to heaven. That's going to be the ironic part.
If you're wrong, you get thrown into hell. If you're right, you get chosen.
That's why you have to download the Covered app to get covered. If you get it right, you get to heaven. If not, if you aren't right, you don't get your sins paid in the debt.
Just like the Catholic Church used to do.
Yeah. Make your payments to heaven. And then buy Bibles.
Pay to be saved.
Pay to be saved. Pay for forgiveness.
Back now.
It's like a subscription service. You can just pay for access.
Think about it. Doesn't the promise of salvation by an almighty deity kind of sounds like a subscription service? He's basically telling you, you're gonna get this service in return for you worshiping me and tithing and all that bullshit, and I give you blessings and protect you. Isn't it basically a subscription service? And then if you don't go regularly and give your tidings, then you get the basic free form, which is why you get cancer and your child drowns in the pool.
To me, it kind of sounds like either a lifetime warranty, right? Because they say that you never lose your salvation, so that's one thing. Or two, it could be a quid pro quo. You do something for me, I do something for you. So to take your pick on how jaded and cynical you want to be about salvation. Speaking of people who don't have any salvation and aren't making it to heaven, Wander Franco. You like Wander Franco?
Indifferent.
You're indifferent if you're. Do you like them more now or before he went to Mexico to diddle children?
Indifferent.
For those of you who don't know who,
there's a lot of children diddlers at this point. Like, it's almost like it's just part of the American culture, or whatever. At this point, like, oh, if you haven't been molested, and you're doing the molesting.
Or at least the Wander Files. I'm sure they maybe will. I believe in what's his name, the new guy, Robert Manfred. He's a real good guy. If you watch the baseball bits, or this baseball doesn't exist video on Robert Manfred, and you'll see how he uses controversies to hide unpopular things that he's adding to the baseball game, to the game of baseball. Like something terrible will happen, talks about it, and then he slides in this new legislation in the baseball world. No one even notices because they're busy talking about the controversy.
Man's a genius. He's like, who was it? David Stern of the NBA.
Yeah.
You ever looked into? There's a couple of videos out there about what David Stern has done, or theories, conspiracies, alleged things of what he's done, and pretty wild. It's like, wow, basketball just seems corrupt. What was it? Wasn't the infamous draft pick? Could have said that he's touching which ball was cold or whatever. There's a lot of crazy up there, and then when you really think about it, and
when he's not a part of the cut, he's the one who came down on the Timberwolves for the Kevin Garnett stuff. So if he doesn't get his cut, you get a cut.
That referee that was caught gambling and he went to jail, and he was saying that others were doing it, and then went up to the top and all this other shit and stuff like that. It was a whole documentary on it, like on Netflix or something.
He's a conspiracy.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Sports. So Wander Franco allowed his wandering eye to get him into some deep trouble, and well, the story goes that he went back to his home country. I believe it's Mexico or Venezuela, or I believe he went to Mexico to do this for he was on vacation for whatever particular reason, and he trafficked a minor and had sex with them. Now he was extradited, I believe, from this country. I don't remember if it was Mexico or Venezuela, back to the U.S. to face charges. Because I don't remember if he had brought them from the U.S. to do it in Mexico because it was legal, or vice versa. All I know is he's been indefinitely banned from baseball for his actions, and he's facing tons of criminal. Free Wander Franco is not a phrase I ever thought I would hear uttered on this show, but here we are. He was the Devil Ray, you know. Well, they don't call them Devil Rays anymore, but
he really stuck on the Devil Ray, like in the past. Tampa Bay Rays.
Hey man, you don't if you're still on the old Cleveland name, I'm gonna be calling them the Devil Rays for as long as I live. Now, I wonder, because I've read to the case a long time ago. I don't know if one, this was going on for a while. Two, if he's done this multiple times. Three, to other people involved. But I guess my question to you is, why would he take risks like this? Wasn't he married? I think he was married.
I don't remember. I do know they had like the text messages.
Were there text messages?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there was text messages, and I thought he got her pregnant or something.
That might be why he got arrested.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. You probably have to look into, because I remember, unless I'm thinking of someone else that did it, but I remember there was a bunch of text messages and they put up there, and I was like, eesh. And then like he got her pregnant or something, and Yeah, well, I was pretty shocked. I was like, what the fuck?
All right, so I apologize. It wasn't Mexico or Venezuela. It was his home country of the Dominican Republic. It says that for now, an appeals court in the Dominican Republic has ordered a new trial for Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco in his sexual abuse case. This ruling was issued on December 9th, 2025, overturned his prior conviction and 2 years suspended sentence from 2025 in June. So I guess I guess he was already convicted. I had no idea. Initial charges. Authorities in the Dominican Republic began investigating Franco in August 2023 for an alleged relationship with a minor that he started when he was 21 and the girl was 14. He was formally charged with sexual abuse and sexual exploitation against a minor in July 2024. The first verdict, earlier this year in June 2025, Franco was found guilty of sexually abusing a minor and received a 2-year suspended sentence. He was found not guilty of human trafficking or sexual and commercial exploitation. So it means he didn't pay for sex, and a suspended sentence. It basically means home confinement. That's all it means. He doesn't go to a jail, but he can't leave his house. The appeals court, both Franco's attorneys and prosecutors appealed the initial verdict. The appeals court cited many flaws and many omissions in the initial trial and ordered a new trial with a different panel of judges. The co-defendant, the minor's mother, was also convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison for commercial exploitation and money laundering, but she was granted a new appeal as well. Current status in the MLB, Franco has not played for the Rays since August 2023. He is on Major League Baseball restricted list without service or paid time. MLB has an ongoing investigation and is expected to issue discipline after the criminal proceedings are complete. A sex crimes conviction could jeopardize his MLB career, making it difficult to obtain a work visa. He also faces separate charges in the Dominican Republic for possession of an illegal handgun from an unrelated incident in 2024. Mental illness. He was admitted in September to a mental health clinic at his family's request. So the man's got problems, is what I'm getting from that.
I remember somewhere I saw, maybe I'm thinking it's someone else, so it never happened. I don't know, but reading, yeah, I do remember this, certain details looking at right here that he transferred 1 million pesos or the equivalent of 17,000 to the mother, basically saying, "Okay, daughter." And that they also arrested the mother for money laundering and stuff too.
This is money laundering
Yeah.
and sexual exploitation, commercial sexual exploitation, which means, like you said, she took the money. She's like, "Yeah, you could do it for $17,000,"
Hmm.
and well, now his case is in limbo. Initially, he was convicted for 2 years, but now he's going to get a new appeals court. Do you think he gets off on a technicality?
It kind of from what I was reading, it kind of seems like there may have been something that was off or something that was kind of wrong, and they really try to throw the book at him, but there isn't like really enough evidence to suggest all the other stuff. He might actually get off on something very small, um, which is probably likely. I kind of feel like it's gonna go in that direction of where they fucked up. They did something where maybe they try to add more to it than it was, and then it's kind of gonna hurt their case. From when I was reading, I feel like he's probably gonna basically walk off scot free. He'll probably get like maybe 2 years probation. Might get like maybe 5 years prison and just some probation, but they want to really put him for like 20 years. I doubt it. He's probably gonna get off on some type of deal, take a plea. Yeah, he's gonna be fine. I don't see him really going to jail for a long time. I have a strong feeling that something's gonna happen, and he's definitely not gonna be allowed to play in baseball. I mean,
I was about to ask,
yeah,
did he come back?
no,
So he plays in the Mexican leagues.
yeah, they'll take anyone. I mean, he's definitely gonna be playing ball internationally. He's not gonna be playing in America in the MLB.
Because they have kind of like a family-friendly reputation, right? Is that like why you think so? Because like
For what the
MLB, they
yeah,
got a sex offender in their
I think
league.
somewhat, but they just have a clause where it's just like you can't do any the morality clause.
Okay.
Yeah, for players and stuff like that. I mean, when what was that pitcher for the Dodgers?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Julio Urias.
Oh yeah, him. I thought you were talking about Trevor Bauer.
No, him too. But what I was gonna say is, Julio Urias hit his wife, right? And then the first time and all that shit got arrested, it was fine, and then he was able to play again. And it happened the second time is when they finally permanently suspended him. And there was a problem going on, just like the NFL had, domestic violence. The MLB had a lot of domestic violence cases, and it kind of seems like they almost really didn't care, right? And Julio Urias was it happened the first time, then it happened the second time, and now he's not playing in baseball anymore. Now I think he plays in Mexico, and I'm not sure what happened.
Him and Yasiel Puig.
Yeah, but Yasiel Puig went to jail for something else.
I think he was handgun. Probably handgun. I think we talked about it with Jay and K9. Shout out to K9.
But then, like you said, Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer was accused of a lot of sexual assault and rape, and they basically banned him from baseball without actually officially banning him. They just suspended him, and then basically he's kind of like a free man, you know. He never got arrested.
Because it wasn't a criminal case. It was a civil case. So she was suing him for a bad. What seemingly the jury decided is basically a bad date. He admitted
not just that, but one of the women showed that all the evidence that he presented and stuff. Because I follow him a lot. I follow a lot of this story because it had to do with a lot of like the whole Me Too movement and the rape culture and feminism, all that. And it showed that she was already telling her friend that, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. Oh, just say he raped you and all this. There was a whole plan to really ruin this guy's name and extort him for money. And he won that. And then one of the women is being charged with making a false report. Doubt she'll probably go to jail. Hopefully, maybe she did. I didn't look into it again. But from what I know, that's what happened. Two of the women, right? So he basically won two of the cases. One is looking like she might go to jail. The other one is like pending, and he still hasn't been back to play baseball. And then the question went back to Julio Urias. It's like, well, he's a woman beater, and they gave him a second chance, and he did it again, and then they finally got rid of him. Trevor Bauer hasn't played in the MLB for years, and he got his name cleared out.
He's in Mexico too, right? He's striking guys out.
Yeah, and it's like, well, how come he can't come back then? It's like, why for this and why no for that? Because it could have been, you could say he had a lot more accusers, even though there was no criminal case against him. Julio Reyes was arrested twice. Or you could say it had to do with at the time of the whole Me Too, the whole feminist rape thing, and he's a white guy. And then that's why, compared to the Mexican illegal who plays for the Dodgers, so it's just like, give him a chance, you know? Every Mexican beats his wife.
And he already had played, you have to think about another thing is, they had just signed Trevor Bauer when this happened. He didn't play for them. Whereas Julio Urias had played for them for like 3 seasons already. Mm-hmm. So there was a culture he built with them. And Trevor Bauer, he was just easy to get rid of because like, well, we just signed him. Well, there goes like, what, $50 million in the toilet that we signed him to.
He was a hot pitcher though. He was, pretty damn good.
In the Guardians.
Yeah.
I remember he went to go talk to the Angels. He was like, hey, should I go, where should I sign? I'm going to talk with the Angels today. And then he signed with the Dodgers instead. But yeah, I also know that he never denied that nothing never happened. He said, yeah, that they did it. It was in a hotel room, and he cheated on his wife. Like it was an affair.
Consensual rough sex.
Yeah.
But the text messages and stuff that was shown about the woman, they were basically trying to extort him and set him up. It really kind of, but he's a good man. A little kinky, a little weird, but who isn't? But
is that Frico, not a Rico?
Exactly.
Rico, not a Rico.
But no, this guy, no, he's never going to play in baseball again.
Wander Franco.
Fucking, no, yeah. Fucking children, no, it's not going to, you're not going to be allowed back. No.
Well,
but
he might get off.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get off something like, oh, yeah.
You get the technicality.
It's going to be something. Weak prosecution, then, trying to go for the overkill and really get him. And it's all gonna fall apart.
Over-ambitious prosecutors sometimes run the case.
Yeah.
Like we did.
Yeah. Yeah, they really tried to get him on a lot of shit, and it didn't work. So that's what's gonna happen.
So that's Wander Franco. I don't know about the whole free Wander Franco thing that we joked about.
Free my boy.
But Wander certainly wandered out of the MLB. Haha. Yeah.
You should cut that out.
I won't. I'm known for bad jokes on this show. But now, I brought up the Angels earlier. Now it's time to finally criticize and talk about a team of minds that is in controversy. It hit home. So the Angels have been going through controversy as the family of their deceased pitcher, Tyler Skaggs, has been suing them for neglect of their players. Family alleges that the Angels have built a neglectful culture of drug abuse and reckless lifestyles, and that they have corrupt team doctors that just give pills out to anybody who asks for them. The family brought in some witnesses that said that, and some former players that said, yes, this is the case. Whenever I asked for certain pills, I got them as soon as I wanted them. And other players have said, yeah, players got pills and shared them with each other and said that it would help them perform better. Also, just to clarify, all of the players who said that said Mike Trout never accepted any of these pills. They wanted to make sure that you knew Mike Trout was offered these drugs, but he never accepted them. Very, very important. Got to protect that man's reputation. He's the only good thing we have left. But the Angels had some witnesses of their own. They had other team doctors, experts come defend them and say that this wasn't a culture within the Angels organization. And the Tyler Skaggs and another player who was being charged or who was being sued as well. They worked alone with their own doctors, and there are, I guess, that one corrupt team doctor. But the Angels didn't know. The players kept this hidden from the Angels, so there was no way that they could professionally know because they used emails outside of the Angels organization, so they had no access to it. And the Angels, all they claimed was that ignorance to it. They had no idea the players were doing this, and that as soon as they found out, they fired that doctor and they decided to clean things up. Now, I know you mentioned earlier about the case. It was looking really bad because a lot of the Angels' witnesses kind of fumbled and bumbled their way through cross-examination, but there was one death blow to the Skaggs family's argument, and that was the Angels' lawyers got some of the witnesses during cross-examination to contradict each other's stories and to expose some things that they had said as not being entirely true. And when that happened, before it went to be reached as a verdict by the jury, the Angels and the Skaggs family had reached a settlement. So in the settlement, what is decided is that no party takes blame for anything that happened during the course of Tyler Skaggs' tenure with the Angels. And I'm sure Artie Moreno couldn't be more happy with the result of that. To say, we say what we say, and the Skaggs family is going to get their payment for losing our beloved player. Which I believe the Angels always hold a Tyler Skaggs night, where everybody wears his name and his jersey number on their uniforms. But yeah, have you been hearing about this case? Have you been paying attention to it? What's your thoughts?
Oh, it's actually kind of crazy that you would think a like multi-million or billion-dollar organization could fuck up so bad. Like, but there is always a history of everywhere, whether it be the music industry, actors, that there's always someone that is, giving out pills or overprescribing or doctor or just something. Michael Jackson and his doctor. Um, I like that how when they were talking to Mike Trout, like he said that he saw or whatever. But yeah, but that's crazy. So they you said they got to the family that they cross examined.
Yeah, the Angels lawyer got to cross-examine the witnesses that the Skaggs family called to the stand to provide testimony.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels lawyer, after testimony, the Angels lawyer gets to cross-examine them, and during the cross-examination, there were some stories that they had told. Each of the witnesses told different stories. The lawyer was able to get them to contradict the stories based on their own testimony, and that kind of like made the case a little shaky now for the judge to be like, or are they telling the truth? They seem to have contradicted themselves. They've changed the story now. They've been exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, it seemed like the Skaggs family was gonna just destroy the Angels in court because the Angels witnesses were kind of fumbling. They didn't contradict themselves, but they were fumbling their way through. They didn't know a whole lot of details. They didn't know anything. But this in the last day of the trial during cross-examination, these witnesses kind of proved themselves to be unreliable. So that really hurt the Skaggs family. And so the day before they had to go to jury, they just agreed to the settlement of, I don't even know what the settlement amount was. Let me check.
I think it was a big number when I read, but yeah, that is crazy. Damn.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing that
because they found him in his hotel, right? Because he missed they said breakfast, the meeting breakfast, and then he missed like practice, and then they found him like what, a day later or something, or was it later that day or a day later?
I believe
and
so.
They found like pills or something.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, that was late. Was it fentanyl? Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. It says that he died of a fentanyl overdose.
I thought it was just too much of just like regular prescription pills, like Vicodin, Valium, and all that shit. Fentanyl, damn.
Okay, so we don't know the amount they settled for. That was part of it, confidentiality on how much they actually got.
I think some people, like rumors came out, whatever, saying that it was close to a good couple million.
Well, what it is one of the jury members said they were going to award the family $100 million because they were going to say the Angels were guilty of neglect.
They were like,
yeah, and so they before the deal was struck, they were going to say, hey, it seems like the Angels were pretty bad at this, and so Artie Moreno just swooped in and was like, 25 mil, take it or leave it. So I was like, take it.
They could have got 100 million.
Could be 100 million.
The juror said that's what they were leaning towards.
Yeah, they were leaning on awarding the family $100 million.
So that's what I was reading. It was like a good chunk. That's what I was reading.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wonder if they settled for more or less. Who knows?
It was Mike Trout's testimony. She was what, was what really helped the family.
It was that. It was the fact that the witnesses that the Angels provided were kind of dumb. Like they didn't know a lot of the details that were being discussed in the case. They were bumbling. They were stumbling over their own words and their stories that they were telling. Though they were consistent through cross-examination, they seemed unprepared. Whereas the Skaggs family during the testimony was convincing, given the fact that all the players said, yeah, we did this. Yeah, the Angels gave us the pills. Mike Trout didn't do it, even though he was offered, but we all did it. And then they got themselves contradicted, so that was like, okay, well, these people are liars, obviously. Can they be believed? The jury seemingly was still going to believe it, but they settled. What I find interesting is the Angels organization seems to be cursed.
They also had that guy that died in a car crash, right?
Nick Aidenhart is the player who died early in his career with the Angels. But even just like a few years ago, there was another Angels player who died in a car crash. So they have Tyler Skaggs, they have Nick Aidenhart. I'm trying to find the list. I had a list of Angels players who died, and it's just a cursed franchise of a team with players that literally, while playing for them, become Angels during their playing career. It's terrible. I'm trying to find this gentleman's name, but I know he was a relief pitcher and he died in a car crash very, very young. I'm very or they often get hurt or they flame out like Josh Hamilton, C.J. Wilson. Alpo still default the curse of Anthony Rendon.
Yeah.
Anthony Rendon, former MVP. We signed him his MVP year, and then just he flamed out. He just didn't care anymore now.
And then he basically said "fuck you" to the fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though the fans never did anything wrong, I own one of his shirts. I don't remember if I've worn it on the show, but I'll wear it on the show soon.
Nah. Fuck him and fuck Chris Paul.
Wow. Well, cursed. Yeah. So even the Society of American Baseball Research has an article called the reputed curse, like Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Oh, another one. a freak injury to Kendrys Morales. Um, Preston Gomez was one of their veteran coaches who died. Wow, crazy. I'll probably put something later on, but yeah, the Angels, they're cursed. It's really terrible. The Angels gonna have a tough season. You know, who knows how much money they're paying out? I don't know if that's gonna come out of the team's budget. They're making signings, but not as good as last time. They should have never fired um, Ron Washington and his fundamentalist baseball mindset. Felt like he was really teaching those boys something. They went from 99 losses to 72 losses, which is still...
Yeah, he was a great manager. I don't know why they needed someone that was tough on him. Someone was going to call. They were doing pretty good. They had a hot streak. They looked like they were going to make the playoffs, and then they do what the Angels always do.
They play him out. I think it's because he once said, "This is not a, they're not big league players," and that kind of drew a lot of backlash from them. He kind of apologized for saying that they're not big league players, but he didn't say anything that wasn't untrue because literally half of the team had been called up from AAA. They weren't big league players. They were filling in roles for big league players that were injured. They weren't big league players. The man should not have to apologize for saying the truth. Now they've got Kurt Suzuki, who's a former catcher of theirs, just like 2 years removed. It's going to be a tough season. I'm not expecting anything more than what would it be 30 wins, 40 wins. We're going to ride the struggle bus for one more season. Hopefully, what's his name? Zach Neto, and Logan O'Hoppe, and what's his name? Robert Stevenson. They grow into their own and they become superstars on other teams. So we're trying to rebuild again. I'm sure the Angels are going to roll the dice on the draft again midseason. Hopefully that gets them to the playoffs like they do every season. They make these huge draft picks out of high school and they put them on the field. They ruin their careers and then they send them back to AAA forever.
I mean, I have faith in them. I kind of feel like they usually do pretty good, like either the beginning or the middle of the season. They show like potential. They go on like these 10-game winning streaks or something, and then you just see a lot of people talking about them, and then they become the Angels again.
Yeah, it's the first month they're always like the top of the league, the top of the division first month, and then they just lose like 15 games in a row, and then they just never pick it back up from there.
Yeah, but they do have serious potential. They just need, one, they need to stay healthy. Two, they need certain players that are just going to, like, I'm not sure how to explain, like, rev up, past the All-Star break. Like, there are some players that have a hot streak. They start off the season strong, get into the All-Star weekend, then they just, like you said, flame out. They need players that are going to go the long road, or just at least start off all right and then really ramp up, because that's what you need from your players. You need them to take it to the next level when it goes to the postseason, right? They play a certain amount of games. Maybe you could give them some more off days depending on injuries and if you have a solid bench, and then you really need them to pick it up. Like, all right, boys, we're gonna try to reach the postseason. Now we're in it, and they got to take it to another level. That was kind of like the issue with the Dodgers when they would go to the playoffs, and then they would just Clayton Kershaw choking, Justin Turner choking, Joe Kelly choking. You just had tons of Dodger players just choking in the playoffs, and they just couldn't do it. Cody Bellinger, big choker. That's why I'm not sure if that's the reason why they traded him, but I do remember that there was some interesting.
He was slumping.
Yeah, some interesting stat, like he just was batting like 167 or something. It was getting bad. So like a lot of
come back to.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah.
People liked him a lot. He's got a certain LA swagger to him, but yeah, that's what the Angels need. They need someone that's going to take them to the next level after All-Star Weekend, and it's going to just ramp it up going to the postseason because they do have potential.
They also need to sell high. We traded our best home run hitter for a guy I never heard of from the Orioles. So apparently, the critics loved it. They were like, the Angels made a great choice trading Taylor Ward for this young guy from the Orioles because he's exactly what they need. I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know. He's kind of... Taylor Ward was as close to a superstar as we're going to get outside of Mike Trout. So, next season, if we don't trade Luis Rengifo and Joe Adele when they're hot, when they're at their highest value, then it's just, we're not making the playoffs. In fact, we're not making it out of the division. We're not making it past the Marlins.
What's crazy is that the Angels had two of the best players in the history of baseball.
They squandered their careers.
They f***ed it up so hard. And then he goes into your rivals and he wins in his first year.
First 2 years.
He
wins 2 in his first 2 years.
He wins in his first year and second back-to-back champion, and he's a legend now. He's holding tons of records that Babe Ruth started off with, and the fact that he's a two-way player and he's pitching. So
all they had to do was give him the deferrals. Apparently, the offer that he took from the Dodgers, he gave to the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
But Artie Moreno does not like doing deferrals, so he just let him walk. Because I thought it was a good idea to trade the farm at the deadline to get players to go for the playoff push. I thought that was a good idea because then, you could just sign them to a lot of money and just suffer that way.
Again, that's the problem. Trading to get players at the deadline, like I said, they just need players that are going to be able to go the distance instead of just meeting at the deadline or trying to trade someone who has some value to get more younger guys to build up for the future or whatever. It's not going to really work. You have to be able to find other players who are known, kind of like leadership, some experience. They don't have to be big shining star, but they have to at least be someone that they have somewhat of a track record of being consistent, some playoff experience, so they could lead you there. That's what they need. So far, it just seemed like they get a big start and they sell. And the Dodgers is different. The Dodgers are a great farm. Yeah, they're continuously finding stars and they're making them.
And they cut them loose when they don't need them.
They're so filled with them that they don't.
The league is full of former Dodger players.
Yeah, they could just trade them away.
I'm sure Andy Paz is going to become one of them. I'm sure Gavin Lux is going to become one of them soon. James Wiseman, what's his name? Wiseman was one of them. That guy Bobby Miller is one of them.
It feels like they just
Seager, Bellinger, they're all full of former Dodgers.
They create stars, and they trade them to get even bigger stars, and they don't have to worry about nothing because they've still got more stars in the making. Meanwhile, the Angels just seems like there's nothing there. They get like a little bit, like a little glimpse of hope. And they say, well, let's see if we could compile all this and then give it for something average or mediocre, and that can maybe, help us. And it doesn't really.
And the trades didn't work out either. Yeah. Randall Grisham was terrible.
It doesn't really turn out that way. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like they're.
Luis Giolito was awful.
What the Dodgers are doing, it's almost like that the Angels are trying to emulate that. They don't get something big in return. They get a flop.
Like, I think, that list of 100 top prospects in the farm systems? The Angels only have, 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful. They've got 2 out of 100 top 100 prospects in their farm systems. That's their future, just 2 good players.
And then when they show enough promise, they're just going to call them up. And then, in 2 years, they're going to trade them for someone that is just mediocre and is just going to continue the cycle.
I think they need to trade Luis Rengifo and Joe Adele for prospects to just build the farm system, let them develop.
Some people are saying maybe they should trade Mike Trout and start building even more, where he still has some star power left in him, which is not that bad of an idea. But I say you can't trade Mike Trout. You need him because he puts asses in seats.
And I think they're gonna let him retire as an Angel.
Let the man retire, but he is the identity right now. The only thing they have going for them.
Also, the man wants to play outfield. They gotta learn to tell him no. They gotta say, Mike, no. You're gonna be the DH, and that's it. You're made of glass. You're made of glass, and we want to preserve that glass. The more the glass gets damaged, the more we lose value. So we're gonna put someone else out there in the death trap that is known as right field and center field. They've had a hole in center field for the past 4 years. Just embrace it. Embrace rotating center fielders. Like Lindsey Graham said he was going to embrace rotating first ladies. Just embrace it, develop it, and keep your star player at the DH. He wants to play real baseball, but it's too late now. It's too late. Can't make those jumping catches anymore.
You gotta protect whatever it is you have left.
He's the only offense we got, so when he's gone, it's over. So we just tell him, no, Mike, no. You're going to play at the DH. That's what they got Jorge Solar for, but didn't work out because Mike Trout got hurt, so he had to play right field, and he was all right. But they're gonna have that void vortex forever.
I was amazed at the time we went to that Angel game, and there were so many players that were covering basically for other players. I'm like, wow. And they weren't even really like that good at that position. Like if you were to listen to the announcers or look at what positions they usually play, like it's a little bit out of his wheelhouse compared to the Dodgers, where almost every player could play almost every player on the bench was a utility player. Well, the Angels mostly kind of struggling to try to find, like someone to cover that spot, and then there were these guys that like I didn't really heard of. I'm like, who is this guy? And the crowd would get excited, and they were like, yeah.
Like, here's Michael Friedrich.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And what's funny is, even though the Angels are god awful, they had the 5th highest attendance of any team on the MLB lists.
Small market of, that they support the Angels because it's not a big stadium. It's small. It's kind of small.
Small prices are good.
Yeah.
It's in the neighborhood.
It's a
It's walkable.
It's a good example of keeping the prices all right with their deals that they have. Keeping the prices low, keeping it keep it family friendly, and you can be consistent. Like the Dodgers is too expensive with all these cholos and pieces that they're loud and obnoxious. Nobody wants to see that. It's just too, As much as I've been a Dodger fan my whole life, disgusting. I hate the traffic. First of all, the waiting to get into the game, and then you just deal with just horrible people. It's just nobody. It's like going to Raider games. No one wants to fucking be with all those fucking idiots and drunks and starting fights. It's just awful. And then the Angel game was completely different. I was like, oh my god, look how friendly and nice it's. The bathrooms are clean. The hot dogs, the food is cheap. The beer is all right. Like, it was just great.
The field seats were like what, $20 or something?
The what?
The field seats we got were like what, $20?
It was something. It was very cheap. Yeah, had a great time.
Very, very cheap. We booed the Astros.
Oh yeah.
But I will say I love the Angels, but Angel Stadium is probably the worst venue I've ever been to.
It's completely different than what I just said.
Well, I mean the people are great, but the venue at the stadium itself looks like it's falling apart. It looks like it's being held together with duct tape and adhesives. But it's a nice experience. It's a great experience. I think Dodger Stadium's pretty clean. I went to the bathrooms in Angel Stadium. It's disgusting. My favorite place is the Honda Center and the Intuit Dome. I think those are really nice, but that's because the Intuit Dome is new. So let's give it a few years. The Honda Center is just.
I feel like you may have went to the Angel game on a bad day.
I went twice, and it was exactly the same each time. I feel like the people who keep the bathrooms clean care just as much about the stadium as Artie Moreno cares about the team. I feel like they give the same level of effort. But it was bad. The fans, they're really great. But yeah, no, it's just not a good stadium. They're just falling apart. I'm sure if I look close enough, I'd find cracks in the wall. But my favorite venue is Honda Center. It's always so clean. It smells nice.
It is really nice.
Everybody there is nice. The bathroom's always super clean. I always end up sitting next to a rival fan, and they're always super nice. I went to go watch them play the Red Wings. The Red Wings fan that was there, he's like, I came to see the Red Wings, but I talked to you and you're super nice, so I'm gonna go for the Ducks. Because I just came with my girlfriend, and I would tell him these pieces of NHL history information, and when she comes back, he tells it to her, he goes, did you know the Red Wings are one of the original 6 teams? Yeah, that's right.
Get my boy late.
And she goes, really? He goes, yeah. He looks at me like, yeah. Just making sure that that's true. And then I went to see them play Sidney Crosby the first game of the season this year, and I sat next to a Penguins fan, and he was super kind. He was like, oh, you're really nice. And he brought up Rickard Rakell, who's on the Penguins. He goes, oh, I forgot. He's like a legend to you guys. I won't say his name. I'll just call him 67, number 67. Because that's his name. He goes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt you. 67, number 67. But yeah, it's a really nice experience. Honda Center is my favorite venue I've been to, and Intuit Dome. I went walking around once, and one of the Clippers staff saw me with the Ducks shirt, told me to take it off. And then a week later, the Clippers did the collaboration with the Ducks. So who's laughing now? He goes, take that shirt off, put a King shirt on. He goes, I'm just playing with you. But
the B-side teams always stick.
They stick together.
I don't know why the Clippers are trying to do that right now. Right now, they're really trying to, side with the B-side teams, the other teams. Like, just because you are the other LA, doesn't mean you have to go with the other. It's just it's not it. I don't like it. I'm like,
Radko Gudas.
They're really trying to get that Orange County, on their side. Yeah. It's like you're in Inglewood.
Still in LA County.
You got hookers just not too far from Intuit Dome, walking the streets. You got crackheads. And, no, just embrace. You are part of LA trash. It's not, well, I guess it is your fault. You are closer to the trash than the Lakers are, but the Lakers may be in downtown, but they got success. Clippers fucking suck, but I still support them.
You're like it's like you're in an abusive relationship and you don't know when to get out. You're just like you believe there's always they show that potential, that hope that they can change.
One day they'll get better.
One day they'll get better. One day they can change. They believe it. I can change them, and then
just misunderstood.
They just go right back to their antics. Well, that was today's episode.
I really felt like we got off topic in the last 10 minutes.
We got off topic in the very first segment when we talked about prediction markets and whatever else we talked about. I don't even remember, but we went off topic a few times. But I felt like we kept it consistent. I feel like we there was a thought there, and I think the thought was conveyed to the audience. And it's a kind of an open.
All two viewers.
It's kind of like an open interpretation type of episode. We talk about specific things. Today was baseball in its many degenerate formats. We had a pedophile, we had a degenerate gamblers, and a guy who died of a drug overdose, and a team that may have been the cause of it. So it's like it's allegedly. You gotta protect myself.
I still can't believe you said about Angel Stadium. I feel like we're in two different realities.
Well, I mean, it's an opinion that I've not just said on the camera. I've said it to you before. Like, I think Angel Stadium is like the dirtiest stadium I've been to. It's very bad.
What the?
Yeah.
Let us know if you disagree with him.
If you've been to Angel Stadium, let us know how dirty it is.
I highly disagree.
If you've been to Dodger Stadium, let us know if you've been punched before. So how about that? I think that's a fair question to ask. Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you everybody for watching today's episode. If you like sports content, please share the video with your crazy sports uncles, and let them know if they agree with some of our takes, if they agree with being a degenerate gambler. Please like, comment, subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon page. You can get all episodes like this uncensored and 2 days early. You can also access our bonus content when we have guests like Sirius and Sad Name on our show. We have additional content with them. As always, when they promote an album, we have them perform the entire album throughout. And we want to thank our sponsor, Dubby. Use promo code TOTBENT at checkout for 10% off all orders. Thank you to Dubby for continuing to sponsor us. And don't forget.
Free my boy.
We'll see you next week, and don't be a chump.
On the Patreon, I take my out on the table.
Subscribe and find out if that's true. Well, let's do it. Jay knows. Come on. This is why we need Jay. That's why we miss Jay. Jay, stop being Batman and take the seat over here.
I want to do another different hand gesture.
Well, this is our hand gesture. You're gonna have to adapt. It's like, all about assimilation.
It's like the Green Goblin mask. It's just calling me. I want to go. Just
no. All right, bye everybody. We'll see. It's gonna end flaccidly like that. Just bye everybody.
It usually ends flaccidly.
There you go.
Be a chump.
Don't be a chump.
I disagree with everything he said tonight.
Angels suck. Clippers suck. That's it. Forever.
Forever.